Hi everybody, we have a super new moon in Aquarius coming up towards the end of the week on the 9th of February or the 10th of February, depending on where you are in the world. And for us in the UK, it's happening on the 9th of February. And this new moon, of course, like any new moon, it marks the start of a new lunar cycle. It's a new beginning in that way. And there is focus around our manifestations and our intention settings for that new period, of course. And with this new moon, or rather super new moon in Aquarius, it's actually allowing us to manifest from that place of where we want to feel free and liberated in our reality. What does that reality look like for us, where we can be free to do what we want to do? We are, of course, the co-creator of our reality with the universe. And you've probably heard that many times before. But we are. So, of course, if we're in charge of creating the reality that we desire, we want to naturally feel like it's a reality where we can be free to embody who we are fully. Aquarius also teaches us about uniqueness and individuality. So, yes, we want to feel free to be our unique self, to exist in a reality that we've created for ourselves, where we can be free to be ourselves for our uniqueness. And it's also about connecting with others. So as well as the unique traits that Aquarius can demonstrate, there is an essence of connecting with others. So this is all about new ways in which we can connect with others on our journey. So our reality might look different because we're wanting to connect in different ways with people, however that might resonate for you, okay? But ultimately with the sun and the moon conjunct, which is what happens at a new moon, okay, they're both at the same degrees, and there is that heightened energy of the soul essence of the cosmos, the sun, and of course our emotions and our feelings associated with whatever's going on, okay, so that's with the moon. And being an Aquarius, yes, freedom and liberation. The soul wants to feel free, to embody that full authentic self, to connect with others in different ways, to mark out this new reality going forward in terms of a new innovative way of being, okay? Because we've been on the healing journey, the transformation journey, and we've understood that change has been needed. So now we're able, with this energy, to manifest this reality that we desire. And it's not just about saying, I manifest this in my life, and then the next day asking, where is this in my life? This is about surrendering to it as well. But there is a lot of potent energy around this new moon. And of course, it's called a super new moon. So that should give you some indication of the potency of this new moon. Okay. And this is about a new reality, our new reality. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the chart without further ado. Let's have a look at what the transits say. Okay. Here we go then. All right, so super new moon in Aquarius. For us in the UK, as I mentioned, 9th of February, but it's happening on the 10th for Sydney, Australia, for example, okay? But the 9th of February. Now, you might see out there that this new moon is happening at, for the UK, 22:59, okay? And you might notice, those of you eagle-eyed out there, might notice that it says 11 p.m. on this particular chart, because for me, with this particular app that I use, I'm putting in the degrees and the minutes of this particular new moon. Okay, this is the time it showed, and I've seen it show up differently for different people. So that's very interesting in itself. Okay, but what we're looking at here, most importantly, because there is like a minute in it, but we're looking at the sun and the moon at 20 degrees, 41 minutes. Okay, so here we have sun and moon, as I say, exactly conjunct one another in Aquarius. We've also got Mercury in Aquarius at the moment, okay, and Pluto is there as well. So we know Pluto is there, but boys, we know Pluto is there, because this is really marking the start of this new transformative period, Age of Aquarius, okay, and Mercury allowing for our expression to be more liberated and free in that way as well. So where we know that we want to manifest change, we should feel free and able to now express that Okay, that's just the supporting energy to it. And I appreciate it plays out differently in different people's lives, in different situations. We are navigating a 3D reality with lots of challenges. Okay, so it's going to be different for everybody. But the sun and the moon here, you know, 2020, 2-2, we want that harmony, we want that balance. Okay, we've got the God number 0 in there as well. So this is very much divinely orchestrated in this way. And 41 minutes, I'm just very much drawn to the fact that that reduces to 5-5, which is all about change. And this is about a new moon, a super new moon in Aquarius, which is about innovation, new ways of connecting with other people, whilst also maintaining our individualistic traits. Okay, so we can feel free to be our unique self. Change is part of that. Okay, so we have this going on, and you'll see either side, funnily enough, we've got Mercury at 7 degrees and then Saturn at 7 degrees, but Saturn's of course in Pisces, but that's 7-7, that's very spiritual as well. So it's very much divinely guided moment, I feel, because there's also something going on with Pars Fortunae, which is the pot of fortune. So I'll come on to that in a moment, okay, because that relates to the trine that I'm going to show you. But we have, of course, this energy going on in Aquarius of newness. And we're trying to move forward in that way. We're trying to cleanse out karma from the past, could even be past life related, because of course, South Node being in Libra, we're wanting to lay that foundation of fairness and balance and reciprocity, equal give and take. And we've had to go through quite a lot of challenges and experiences and perhaps even remembrances, okay, because these can come up from past lives where certain aspects, certain patterns have been coming up to be healed in this lifetime once and for all, to then establish the balance, to bring into the balance, to restore the balance of a situation or a connection, okay, or simply within our lives. So we're wanting that fairness at the foundation. We're striving towards the North Node, of course, our purpose, and the North Node is in Aries. So we're striving towards, as a collective, our sovereignty. It's part of our healing journey as a collective because Chiron is also there. And of course, in your own charts, where Chiron is, that's going to indicate your own healing journey. But as a collective, and the fact that the North Node is there, there's a conjunction, it's 1 degree apart. Our purpose is we are moving towards a more sovereign way of being, leaders of our own lives. And of course, healing that through all this transformation that we've been going through, because we've maybe had to believe that we are sovereign beings. And we've had to go through a lot of shadow work to transmute certain energies to get through to us that we are sovereign beings. We're capable of many great things. And let's not forget, North Node in Aries, Chiron in Aries, with this healing of our sovereignty, this is about the self. So we may have been put in situations where we've had to really focus on the self, and that could be unknown, uncomfortable territory, especially if we're used to dealing with other people and putting other people before ourselves. This has been, let's turn the microscope now back on us, okay? And I say microscope. Honestly, I don't know why I said microscope. The spotlight is what I meant to say, but perhaps there is a microscopic view that we've had to take to really dig deep. That was relevant for some reason, okay? But, you know, we've had to turn it back onto ourselves to understand that warrior within. But the self, it all starts from the self, okay? We've had to give attention to the self, which might not have been easy. But we're aiming towards that. So at the foundation, or the South Node, where we're kind of moving away from, because we're moving in the direction of the North Node. So we're moving away from that kind of past life scenarios and situations that haven't been fair, that haven't been balanced, even stuff in this lifetime, where we've come from in this lifetime that hasn't been fair, hasn't been balanced. We're trying to cleanse that karma, close out cycles that are not serving us, to build that foundation that is reciprocal, that is balanced and harmonious in that way. And even where justice has been needed, because it's Libra. And it could have even been within significant relationships, doesn't have to, but Libra rules the 7th house. So take that if it resonates, okay? But fairness is definitely one of the key words, as well as balance, I would say, for what we're trying to establish at the foundation. So very interesting that the sun and the moon at this point of the new moon are going to be in trine to the South Node, but not only just the South Node, Pars Fortunae, who is also there in Libra at this moment in time. And Pars Fortunae moves quickly. So at this point, you know, there is a trine. So this is where I feel it is that very divinely orchestrated, divinely guided, destined moment where we can manifest this reality we want for ourselves. And we've got the support of Pars Fortunae there to allow the fairness to come into it. Okay. Now, the other aspect here is the trine that goes across to Vesta. So we can see then, and it completes the triangle. Okay. So Vesta's in Gemini. So this is air energy. This is air, okay, within these trines. So there is this movement, not so much as the flowing water energy that I would say, but there is movement to air, okay? But also when we reflect on logical thinking, it might be that we have to follow some logical thinking. Of course, we need to be guided by the soul. We need to be guided by our intuition. And with the sun and the moon, we need to be guided by our intuition from the soul, okay, and that freedom of expression with Mercury in Aquarius to communicate that to ourselves freely and openly, and also how we feel with the moon, okay, and to enable us to then utilize the logical thinking once we've understood what we need to do, what we are manifesting, what we're wanting to manifest. The logical approach may be because perhaps we need to be quite strategic. Okay, so the air energy can obviously help with that logic, that intellect. So this is about our realities. This is about our futures. So we've got to apply a bit of sense to this. We've got to apply some wisdom and some intellect to this, because this is about our new way of being. Okay, and Vesta being in this trine as well, sacred flame, but she's in Gemini. Okay, so if you're still not sure about what your sacred flame is, that muse type energy that inspires you to create what that might be for you, then this Gemini energy allows you to look at something from two sides, okay, to be curious enough to investigate what it might be, and to do that via how the soul and the emotions of the moon are guiding you in this way, but also applying the logic. Okay, and essentially what this is about here is through the cleansing of the karma from the past in this lifetime and from past lives if applicable, in order to lay that foundation that's fair and balanced, enables us to understand more of what that sacred flame energy is for us, because we can look at a situation and say, okay, maybe this is where I've come from, that wasn't inspiring me to create, but this, I'm perhaps going to investigate this because this actually lights my fire a bit, you know, but I don't fully know if it's my sacred flame, but it's got me interested. So that investigative nature of Gemini as well, that curiosity could be part of this from what you've closed out in terms of that karma and in terms of building a foundation that is reciprocal, because you're wanting to invest in situations and people that are going to be reciprocal in terms of the energy. And it may be that the sacred flame can be found within a connection, because it might be that that individual or group of people could be like a bit of a creative muse for you. And within that which they unlock for you could be your sacred flame energy. Not necessarily the person or the people, but activities that they do or events that they attend could unlock something. So having the curiosity to be quite logical about this and look at something and understand that, okay, things are maybe opening up for me now because I've already set the intention within myself to move in the direction of that sovereignty of the North Node in Aries. I want to close out the karma because I've learned these lessons of the past, and I want to head in this direction because it feels free and I can feel liberated when I do this. And it's a new innovative way for me to move forward. Think of the Aquarius energy, okay? And it could be through connecting with others in what I've just said that enables you to unlock that. So it ties back to that Aquarius energy. So you've got that lovely harmonious trine going on with all of that. And Pars Fortunae being there, of course, would symbolize to me that there is fortune in this moment. And fortune doesn't have to just be money, okay? Fortune can be abundance, love, joy. And remember here, Pars Fortunae is in Libra. So this is about having a favorable outcome that's balanced, okay? But it's certainly a destined moment in that way. It's a fortuitous moment. And this is a snapshot of the cosmos at the time of the super new moon, okay? So absolutely meant to be in Libra at this point. So it's a destined moment for balance to be restored through our manifestations of the reality we want to create for ourselves that is going to be fair and reciprocal, but also it's going to be new, innovative. It's going to enable us to connect with people differently. It's going to enable us to feel liberated. And through that, we may discover fully what the sacred flame is for us. If we already know that, that is already going to enhance this energy, because we know, we might be investigating it further, but we know what our sacred flame is. We know what we want to create from. We've just got to use logic in order to put the next stepping stones in place to create this reality that we desire. But it is already enabling us to close out that karma. It's enabling us to receive that reciprocity, and it's enabling us to feel liberated and free within the soul and within our emotions, within this trine. Okay? So that's very positive and very powerful, I would say, in a destined moment. So with your intention settings and your manifestations, come from that place of wanting to feel free and liberated in what you're doing, wanting to feel free and liberated in the reality that you want to experience in your life, and what fairness and balance and reciprocity looks like for you, okay, and how this can all be factored in to your intention settings. Now, this is not without challenges, because we know there's other aspects going on. These are just the ones I'm particularly drawn to, but there is a square from Vesta to Neptune, okay? So what I would say to this, because Neptune is at home in Pisces, and Neptune is very ethereal, mystical, okay? And the spiritual essence, the intuition, okay? And that's what we need to be in touch with. There could be a sense of us not listening to our intuition here with this square to Vesta. Are we really understanding what our intuition is telling us about this sacred flame energy? Are we making the most of these opportunities because we are engaging with our intuition, or are we blocking it off for whatever reason? Now, Vesta in Gemini would indicate to me that there is this curiosity. So if we don't know, we are curious, but are we engaging with our intuition? Let's also look at the shadow side of Neptune: confusion, illusion, and deception. Okay, so we don't want to be too focused on this logical approach. And what I mean by that is we need to have that intuition coming into play, because we've got to understand where we're being guided, because our intuition is like our inner compass. So we need to have that. But we don't want to necessarily self-sabotage ourselves out of opportunities to manifest something great for us here, because we don't believe in ourselves, okay? Because there's also self-sabotage at play. If we're not too sure what our sacred flame energy is and we're still trying to work that out, that's what can create the confusion, okay? So that also might indicate why there is a square there. But the advice I would say for this is to really engage with one's intuition first and foremost, in terms of that reality that you want to create for yourself, but listen to your intuition. And if your sacred flame is known, and it's like, well, that inspires me to create, so that's what I want to manifest for my life, for my reality, but maybe I need to do X, Y, and Z first, and that's too much hard work, so I'm just not going to listen to my intuition. It's about engaging with our intuition and not sabotaging situations that are going to unlock more of this for us, okay, through our own negative self-talk, or blocking off to the options that could be presenting themselves to us, okay? There's also something to be said about Saturnian lessons that are still going on. We know they are. And there is this opposition energy to Lilith in Virgo, okay? And we've got, I mean, Juno's in Virgo as well, but they are more apart now. They were closer together. But of course, with movement and everything, then they're no longer when I look at this particular chart, but they're both in Virgo. So there's still something about supportive partnerships, but this is really about the shadow work that we've been doing, okay, is enabling us to learn these Saturnian lessons, but it may still feel challenging and a bit like a push-pull type energy. So once we get through some shadow work, it's like Saturn is here with another lesson, and it's like, oh my goodness me, another lesson. And it's like, yeah, because I want to make sure that you're ready for this next step. I want to make sure that you're ready to embrace this new innovative beginning. We're moving into a new age, folks. This is about change, innovation. It's not the same as it was. So Saturn is going to make sure that we are ready, and he's in Pisces, the house of the divine. So getting us in alignment with our spiritual truth. So there could be more shadow aspects coming up that we've got to really try and face with Lilith there. Okay, but it's all for our highest good, because she's teaching us about this. She's also teaching us about deep desires. So where we do want to go after something in our reality, we do want to create this, but maybe we've not unlocked it before because we've never believed it possible. Well, Saturn is showing us that we need to overcome that lesson. We need to overcome that fear and be quite focused and driven about it, okay? To kind of get the job done in a Saturnian way, but with that ethereal essence of Pisces. You know, this is all in alignment with your spiritual truth. So understand what it is on a spiritual level that you want, and any fears that are coming up, any doubts, any anxieties, any wounds that Lilith is showing us, we need to address them as part of the healing journey. Remember, we're moving towards that sovereignty, to make decisions for our own lives, to be the leaders of our own life, okay? So that's very important to say also. But the other interesting thing I noticed is that Venus and Mars are getting closer to one another. So Venus is at 21 degrees Capricorn, Mars is at 27, okay? So they are getting closer together. So that balance between the feminine and masculine energy within needs to come together, and it is coming together, again, to restore that balance. So we need to make sure that we are nurturing ourselves, we are open to receive, and we are creating from that place, which is all about this manifestation, okay? And the Mars energy, the masculine drive within, to take the courage to take action, okay? To have the courage to take action, should I say. So balancing the two. And we've seen balance over here, part of the trine. So as we balance, we come into harmony, we can close out more of this karma and anything that's disrupting a fair, stable foundation that we're trying to build, okay? There we go. So there we are, a bit of a kind of quick tour around the chart for the super new moon in Aquarius. But essentially, this is all about our manifestations and intention settings when it comes to this new lunar cycle of newness, of innovation, of change, of finding different ways to connect with other people, of establishing a reality for ourselves that allows us to feel free and liberated in who we are. And to, of course, address the shadow aspects coming up, because we need to learn those lessons and get things closed out. That's going to help us establish more of that fair, balanced foundation. But understanding it's a destined moment to be taking a logical approach to our reality as well. Stepping stones, if we need to put plans in place, but knowing where we're heading towards, because we've got that connection with our intuition. We understand what we're striving for, okay, and we are addressing certain fears around that that's coming up to move us forward in that balanced and harmonious way. Okay, right, there we go. Let's just pull up the UK's charts. Okay, I'm just going to show you where it's happening for us in the UK. All right, so the inner wheel is the UK's natal chart, super new moon in Aquarius, outer chart, and everything drawn on there exactly like you've seen before, but in a smaller space. So the trine there, the sun and the moon are in the 8th house, the 8th house of power and passion. So this is about empowerment, okay, in this moment of manifestation. We've got the South Node and Pars Fortunae in the 4th house of foundations and family. And then we've got Vesta over here in the 11th house of connections with others. So it does relate to connections with others. And, you know, like I was saying before about maybe finding a muse for your creative spark, perhaps within groups of people, because it might be an activity that they're doing and that's unlocking something within you that you find is your sacred flame, whatever it might be. That's helping you feel more empowered, 8th house, and in turn enabling you to build that strong foundation, which could be within your family life or simply within the home, within your own home. Okay, think of your own home, your own soul, your home. Okay, so very fortuitous in that moment. Lilith is in the 2nd house of worth and values, and Saturn is in the 9th house of learning and discovery. So yeah, we're still learning and discovering what these lessons are all about, what we're having to learn from Saturn. And this relates to our worth and values when it comes to Lilith. So believing that we're worthy enough of this change that we can manifest for ourselves. Okay. And the square that I mentioned is between Vesta and Neptune. So Vesta, as we just saw, 11th house, Neptune is also in the 9th house. So yes, we are understanding, we're learning about our intuition, what our intuition is telling us in terms of our connections with others, where that sacred flame may be present. Okay, but that might be challenging because that might involve us needing to be open to different connections to understand more about what that sacred flame energy is all about. So let's use the Gemini energy there within Vesta to maybe be curious enough to find out, because it could unlock further opportunities for us. Okay, let's not self-sabotage that. We are learning, we are discovering, and Saturn is there. So maybe there's lessons being served up around all of this as well. But let's be curious enough to find out, because it could unlock a door, a window to amazing opportunities. Remember, Pars Fortunae, this is a fortuitous destined time for our manifestations in relation to all of this. Okay. And there we've got Mars and Venus, 6th house. Okay. At the end there of the 6th house. So that's to do with daily routines and schedules, being of service to others and well-being. So the balance is going to bring about that more harmonious well-being within us, because when we are balanced, we do feel better in that way, okay, from a spiritual point of view, but generally in life. But also we're balancing things out in our day-to-day life because we want a different reality. And this is about, okay, change has been needed, and we've known that because Pluto certainly was there in the 6th house whilst he was trudging through the end of Capricorn. And now he's obviously moved into the 7th house of relationships with people, places, things. Like, okay, I've trudged through what's been going on in day-to-day life, closing out cycles that are not serving us, structures that don't serve us anymore. And now I'm in the 7th house. So let's sort out new ways of connecting with people, new ways of connecting with places, and just new ways of connecting with anything we have a relationship with. Mars and Venus are in the 6th house. So the balance within daily routines, within ourselves, okay, coming into that harmony of what we want to create for ourselves on a day-to-day basis. And if we're going to take the action on a day-to-day basis to achieve that, okay, also with being of service to others, we want that balance. Because of course we want reciprocal energy, but the balance is let's nurture, okay, so we can be nurturing where we are of service to other people, but let's also have that masculine drive of taking action where we need to, okay. So it's establishing the balance, it's restoring the balance within us, and as within, so without, okay. So we would then receive that reflected back to us if we are coming from a balanced position within ourselves. Okay, right, there we are. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to take some cards. I've got here the Moonology manifestation deck, okay, because it's the new moon, super new moon. So let's first of all see what message we have from the Moonology manifestation deck for the collective. Of course, take what resonates. This is based on collective energy. Well, I just saw a card that said go deeper. You're probably thinking, as if I haven't gone deep enough, like through this transformation journey. Right, so we've got work through your feelings. And it's Aries energy, which is strange to me because Aries is that fire energy, and it's the 1st house, the self, you know. So, okay, let's look at it. Work through your feelings when it comes to yourself, not taking other people's opinions or situations into account. This is about the self. Work through your feelings. Okay, what threw me was the feelings bit because that's more water energy, but it does make sense in terms of the self. Let's put the focus back on the self and work through our own feelings to understand what we need to do here. as the leader of our own life. Anything else, please? Anything else from Moonology manifestations? Here we go. There's some water energy. Push through any insecurity. So this is actually energy, Cancer energy. So it's water energy. And there is more of a flow to this. Now, of course, the moon's home is Cancer. And this could be saying, because that rules the 4th house, so it could be saying about any insecurities that are coming up within your foundations or your home life generally. So I don't necessarily mean literally your home life, although it could do, but think of yourself as your own home, okay? Because remember, we need to focus on the self and how we feel about things. Push through any insecurities that are coming up, because they're coming up for a reason. They're coming up to be healed, to be transmuted, okay? And nurture yourselves, because Cancer is nurturing energy. It's divine feminine energy. And we've got Pisces there as well. So talk less, feel more. Okay. So, and on the bottom, more Cancerian energy, take a breather. Okay. Don't be so hard on yourself, is what I would say. Okay. Especially if there are insecurities coming up, that could be certain aspects from Lilith that are coming up to be healed. Okay. So it's all coming up for a reason. It might feel intense. It's all coming up for a reason. Talk less, feel more. Now, interestingly, with that trine, that's air energy. So air is about communication as well as thoughts. Okay, so the logical approach to thinking, but also communication and expression. Okay, to get things done, to put a plan in place, you know, to have the stepping stones there. Talk less, feel more in terms of Pisces energy is absolutely what I was saying about the intuition. So we still need to have that logical approach, but we need to feel more into it first. And if we are working through our feelings with that Aries energy of the self, understanding from our intuition and how we feel, how we are guided, you know, what we want to manifest for our reality, it's about feeling into it and pushing through any insecurities that might exist in that space. Okay, but we need to feel worthy of that. We need to feel worthy of manifesting the reality that we desire. Okay, but surrendering to it and not saying on the next day, where is it? Because it kind of takes a bit longer for the universe to deliver than the following day. So wisdom of the oracle. Let's see any additional messages. Thank you. This is an interesting one. TikTok. Okay, this has been coming up quite a bit. I've just mentioned about time, haven't I? And we know time's an illusion. It's a man-made construct. But it's this pressure that we have to do certain things, to make certain changes by a certain time. Okay, it's pressure that we put on ourselves quite often. So talk less, feel more. Let's not overthink. Let's feel into the situation. We know when it's the right time for us to do certain things. Okay, so if this super new moon in Aquarius doesn't align for you in terms of your manifestations, park it, leave it. Okay, it's not going to be for everybody, but it's saying that this is the energy of this new moon. Okay, in order to manifest a new way of being, because it's Aquarian energy, that freedom and liberation that we strive for. Okay, but if it's not resonating with you, it might not be your time to receive that message, and that's okay. We're all on our own journeys. So I just get the sense when I look at this, it's almost like trying to grab time, because time is running away. So we need to kind of slow ourselves down, because we might be putting that frantic energy on trying to achieve something. Okay, it all starts with the intention, but then we can lay off a bit. You know what I mean? Thank you. Yeah, because that's what we're striving towards, being happy, and not just happy, but happy. And see, she's holding that star. The star in tarot is all about rebirth, new start, healing energy. And guess what? It's Aquarius energy as well. Let's be happy. And let's not be in a rushy, okay? Resist that. Right, sacred destiny. Let's see. And this is because of Pars Fortunae. I'm drawn to this deck. Okay, let's see. Anything from sacred destiny. It's a destined time for this if we're going to use the energy, you know, to work for us. Let's have a look. Sacred destiny, what have we got for the collective for this new moon coming up? Well, I was just saying that, wasn't I, about the time factor. So patience is an element here, and protection. Okay, so this is about understanding that we have this growth going on. This is what I'm feeling from this card. Now, how long does it take for a tree to grow? Quite a long time. And I'm not saying that your manifestations are going to take the same amount of time it takes for a tree to grow. I'm not saying that at all. I'm trying to explain that this takes time, okay? And being protected within your manifestations and intention settings for the reality that you desire, because an element of patience is needed for it to unfold. This is all about creating a new reality, okay? And being in complete alignment with it. And that's when it takes the time it takes, okay? This is the goal that you're wanting to strive towards. So if your intention is, okay, Spirit, with this new moon in Aquarius, I want to be happy. I want to feel free and liberated in my reality to be my true authentic self, in my uniqueness. And I want to be able to connect with lots of other people on different levels within my work, within my activities, whatever it might be. I want to do that because I want to be happy. I want to feel happiness and joy, and I am worthy of feeling happiness and joy from the divine. So I understand change is needed, and I'm hereby setting the intentions to make the necessary steps, okay, to be guided with these necessary steps to transform my reality. And it could be as simple as that. You're setting the intention to Spirit of being happy because at the moment you're not happy, you're not fulfilled. So if this is what you want to achieve, that's an intention. And maybe you don't know the way forward at this moment in time, but allow the universe to then deliver that to you in signs, in opportunities, but you need to be aligned with that first. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's just see if there's any additional messages from the tarot. The Universal Weight deck. Okay, let's see what we have for the collective for this super new moon in Aquarius. Thank you. Okay. And one more, please. Right, frantic energy. So Page of Swords in reverse on the bottom, hidden energy. There might be a message that's trying to come through to you and you're not receiving it. Okay, could be that. And it could just simply be saying that clarity, more clarity is needed in a situation. Okay, what we have here, there's quite a few came out. We've got the Fool with the Seven of Swords. That came out together. They came out together. So the Fool in reverse and Seven of Swordsy. Seven of Swordsy is sneaky and deceptive energy. It can also represent sabotage. So don't sabotage a new beginning for yourself, okay? And be mindful of those around you that might be trying to do that for you, okay? And it's not to say everybody has that intention. And I really personally don't understand why people have that intention to do that to other people. However, if somebody is trying to kind of get away with something, or if somebody's trying to hide something, okay, in order to put you in this kind of position of not feeling free to take a leap of faith, then that's not okay. The next card is Queen of Pentacles. So this is about knowing your worth, owning who you are, sovereign being, okay? So knowing your worth and understanding you can be grounded in that to build a reality you desire, okay? It's Pentacles, so it's real world, 3D energy, okay? There might just be fears around a leap of faith. So take this with a pinch of salt. It might not be anything to do with anyone else around you. It could simply be saying, don't sabotage a new beginning for yourself because you don't know your worth. You need to know your worth, okay? Because at the moment, it's an unbalanced situation. There's no justice in this. And this is the Libra energy that I was talking about in the chart. So we want fairness and reciprocity. It all starts from you, knowing your worth, okay? And understanding that maybe a break from tradition is what's needed. Well, that ties in perfectly with this innovative era of Aquarius, okay? And there we have 8 of Cups with the Queen of Cups. So this is very much heavy on the emotion here, but being open to receive opportunities and walking away from those opportunities that haven't given you that happiness, that haven't given you, where is my happy card, that haven't given you that happiness, that emotional fulfillment. It's walking away from those situations with your own cup, okay? So that's the self-love aspect. So loving yourself enough to walk away from situations that are not serving you because you want to be open to receive new opportunities. We've got 2 queens here. That is divine feminine energy. And this is about stability and emotional happiness. Okay. And they are both in the upright as well as that one. So absolutely walking away from what is not making you happy in order to build something that is going to make you happy and fulfilled and is going to be stable. But you must know your worth and you must be comfortable and confident and be open to receive. Okay. So groundedness and obviously keeping heart chakra open to receive divine opportunities and blessings. There we go. Right. Okay. So I'm going to send you love and blessings for this super new moon in Aquarius. Okay. And I'll be back for further reports. But yes, take care of you and just understand, feel into what is the reality that you want to create for yourselves. It's going to enable you to feel free and liberated to be your unique self. Okay. And start from that point. And even if it's just saying, well, I want to feel free in a situation and I know that things need to change and I'm going to allow the divine to show me what the steps are that I need to take. It's still setting those intentions to move forward with the energy. Okay. So sending you love and blessings. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.